Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Wednesday night hobby hangout. Hope everybody's well. Hope your week is going well. Hope you've still got a bit of sunshine, especially if you're here in the UK. We seem to be having a bit of a heat wave at the moment, but hopefully you're making the most of the nice weather as well. So let's have a look and see who we've got in the chat before we talk about what we're painting tonight. Because when I set the stream up this morning, I wasn't really sure what I was going to paint tonight, to be honest, which is why it's that kind of like nondescript kind of thumbnail tonight. But let's have a look. Lord Maiden was in early on as well. Hello to you, sir. I'm sure it must have missed a few when I've kind of logged in a bit later, but apologies if it's missed you off in the early birds. Peter Nicholas says, hopes everyone's in good health and spirit today. I may have a beer later. Well, I'm going to join you, mate. I've found a can in the fridge here in the garage from the weekend. So yes, I thought, well, I went to get a bottle of water and then I saw there was one can of beer and it was like, I'll have that instead. Lord Maiden said he's pondering on whether to grab the cider and drink that. What harm can it do? Dave McKay, hello to you, mate. How you doing? You know what it is? I was trying to think, is it Dave McKay or Dave McKay? My mind went blank there for a second. Ortega says, hi, all constant and I hope it's a good see you in the catch up. Hello, Ortega. Marcus, a super pumpkin man, good afternoon to you. Hello to Christian as well. Looking forward to seeing you, mate, in a couple of days. Christian is coming all the way north to the northeast to come and spend the weekend here. So we're going to be in some games. We're no doubt going to be recording some stuff. And we're going to have some drinks. We're going to enjoy the sunshine, which is going to kind of put the world to rights. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Blizzards, hello to you, mate. Nigel Jones, good evening, mate. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining the chat tonight. Daniel Kennedy, he of Armada fame with all of his stuff getting posted on the Mantic site there. Jeff Higdon, nice to see you, lad, as well. Kevin F says, good evening, everyone. Happy to finally catch one of these live. Kevin, welcome to the live chat, mate. I hope you are well. Apologies if we've chatted before me. I do get a lot of different names and stuff, and trying to remember everybody's quite difficult. So let me know a little bit about you, mate. Whereabouts are you? And what you're painting tonight? Are you painting? John S. still says, good evening. Happy hobby time for everyone. It's nice to kind of sit back and chill and have a bit of hobby time, isn't it? Tasty Brain Drain, good evening to you. Stu Hayes is in as well, good evening. Busey's in as well. Busey, the 3D printer there, who's just been chatting in the Patreon chat. He's been setting up his brand new 3D printer today, so trying to get over that hurdle of getting it set up and get the first print done. So yeah, it sounds like you're on the right track now, mate. Anyway, Blizzard said it was 35 degrees C here yesterday, not much cooler. It's been a nice toasty day here as well. I think about probably 17, 18 degrees is what it said, but it felt a lot hotter. I picked up my two oldest boys today. They finished school. I finished college now for the summer. They're waiting for their A-level results. They start university in October. They've pretty much got the summer off now, so they've come to stay for the evening. They're obviously just sitting inside playing on their video games and stuff like that. But we went out for lunch today, and that was quite nice, sitting out in the sunshine having a bit of lunch. Yeah, it's been a bit warm today. Lord Maiden says, Peter was before. Kev says it's been 30 degrees all day. Glad it's cooling down a bit. Frantic, good evening to you, mate. Stu saying as well, back on the hobby wagon tonight with a little bit of Headracker's Mob from Underworlds. Not familiar with that one, mate, but yeah, sounds good anyway. Tasty Brains, you're in, go for the cider. Roger29 says, afternoon, first time catching you live. Good afternoon, welcome to the chat. Let me know who you are, let me know where you are, let me know what you're painting, what games you're playing. Always good to find out a bit more about the new folks as well. Tony Howell, good evening to you. Michael Cowan says, no hobby is working as usual, although just avoiding building a 40k starter set. As for drink, pretend I'm on a holiday and drinking Effie's in the sun. Very nice, mate. Ned Pearson, hello to you, sir. Painting 3D printed terrain for a D&D one shot this evening. Can't go better than that, mate. You're obviously doing the work for everybody else there. Well done. Welcome to the chat this night, Ned. Peter said it was hot this morning. Had to go out on a bike. Kev F says he's from Holland. Currently painting up some kin. Goblin Cowboys from Malifaux. I came here for the content and stayed for the ASMR quality voice. I don't know about that, mate, but thank you very much for coming in. And yeah, good news on the Malifaux stuff as well. So, what are we painting this evening, or what am I painting this evening? After not really knowing what to do, I decided to go with, we're going to be painting a little bit of Armada tonight. Let me just, I've got the big screen up in front of me there, so I can kind of make sure that camera's working and stuff. Just click on the right bit. So yes, so I can look up there and make sure that everything's in shot and stuff. Yeah, so this is, we've got the Orc Ripper Hulk built up here, and I've got, or I've put them down somewhere. Oh, here they are. I've also got all of the sails primed as well. So I've built all the sails up because these come in 2 parts. There's an upper and a lower part as well. So I've primed all those up with a brown camo spray from Halfords, just an auto store in the UK. And this particular ship actually comes. Fly in the box. Brilliant. It actually comes with a different front as well, so you can make it. I think the Ripper Hulk is like the standard big ship, and then this is like a named one-off. And I actually quite liked this this part. Really bright, that. Yeah. It comes with this other part as well, with the kind of got the wheels and like the sort of spikes or blades on the wheels. But I decided to go with the gun on the front of it. Yeah, for the main Ripper Hulk. So yeah, and the claw on the back there. So this actually comes in. It only actually comes in 3 parts randomly. It comes with this bottom piece here with the gun, so you can kind of choose which one you want to have, and this arm that hangs off the back. Everything else is all one piece of resin. Now the quality and the detail is absolutely fantastic, but one sort of negative with this model, I would say, is there are lots of little cannons all over it, and a couple of them had been knocked off when I actually took it out of the bag. And to be honest, as soon as I picked it up to clean it up and stuff with a hobby knife, I knocked a few off with my fingers as well. So just be careful. If you do get one of these, just be careful. It's not going to it doesn't change the look of it. It's an Orc vehicle at the end of the day. I'm sure they'll have a few cannons missing. It wouldn't be perfect, but it's not ideal. So yeah, just be a little bit careful when you're holding it and stuff like that. But yeah, I decided I'm going to repaint my Orc ships. I never got very far with them, but I'm going to repaint the Orc ships. And just use a brown spray paint for the main bulk of it, and then paint up the masts and try and do a relatively quick job on it. So we're going to start tonight by a little bit of, we've got Steel Legion Drab here, and we're gonna just dry brush. We're just gonna bit of a dry brush over the whole ship. So let's have a look while we're sorting this out. See what we've got. Yeah, Busey's saying he's on track now, although dinner is well off schedule. Tizzy Brain Drain saying, sweet! Armada, nice one. Raj says he's in Utah, getting into Stargrave, Last Days, Zombie Apocalypse, and Gaslands. Very nice choices there, mate. Priming his Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Co-op. I need to give that game a try, mate. I must admit, I'm starting to see it more and more now, and I'm only ever hearing good stuff about it. So yeah, nice work, mate. Peter saying that's a fabulous model. Yeah, it's not bad, is it? It's a big old chunk of resin. Tony's saying he's got bricks, putty, sculpting tools, steel ruler, and a pencil. I'm bricking up an MDF kit window tonight. You keep boarding up for the neighbours, eh? VJ, good morning, sir. Hope you are well. He's having a cup of green tea before he hits the painting table. Rain looking likely, so no run. I'm impressed by your healthy lifestyle, mate. I wish I could take a leaf out of it. I need to get myself back on the healthy wagon. So it's easy to say, not so easy to do. But yeah, nice to see you in again, mate. Peter said, evening gents, just popping to say hello. No hobby time. Got his first jab and feeling a bit woozy. Have a good night all. Thank you very much for popping in, mate. And yeah, I hope it's a speedy recovery from your first jab there, mate. So I'm just using an extra large Artis Opus dry brush, just because that's what I've got, not because I think they're anything sort of fantastic or better than anybody else's. It's just that's what I've got. So and we're just going to give a little bit of depth to the kind of the brown here. I'm doing it first because there's so much detail on this ship. If I try and paint anything else first and then do this dry brush, it's gonna pick up everything. But yeah, we're gonna just give it a good old dry brush. And as with always with dry brushing, it's much better to be a little bit too light, take too much paint off on the paper towel, rather than leaving too much on and getting a big splodge of it. And just double check it before you start. Where are we at? Johnson, he's definitely picking one of them up in the future. I assume you mean one of these Ripper Hulks, mate. Yeah, it's a really nice model. I've got all of the big ships there ready to paint. but the Orc one was the one I decided to do for tonight. So I'm still deciding which faction to take to the Armada tournament in September. Can't decide between Orcs, which I think Orcs are probably my favourite ships, if I'm perfectly honest. Like the actual models, they're probably my favourite models. Dwarves, because Dwarves are my faction really. They're my Kings of War faction, and I must admit I do like the Dwarf boat. And as you mentioned today, they are super fast to paint. I don't think I'll take Basileans, but I must admit I've now got the Empire of Dust ships as well, and I do like the look of them. I've not played them yet, so I'm not sure how they play or what tricks they have up their sleeves. So if I can get a few games in beforehand, it's probably a toss-up between Orcs and Empire of Dust, I think, for the event. But we'll see. It's not like I'm going to win or anything like that. But it's whichever ones I probably paint the nicest, or which ones I get finished in time. That might decide it for me, to be fair. Pete says he's had both jabs now and felt pretty much okay. I've managed to bring my second jab forward, so not next Monday, but the Monday after. I've got my second jab now. So by the time the UK Games Expo comes around, I'll be right as rain for a nice event, assuming it goes ahead as planned. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that done and getting me vaxxed up. BJ saying hope the weather clears up for a run later in the day. Yeah, hopefully, mate, for you. I'm super impressed with your enthusiasm to get out there. Even my wife's been out for a run tonight. She finished work tonight and went out for a run. So yeah, it's just me letting the side down, mate. Dan saying it's fantastic looking beast of a ship. Can't wait to do mine. Both fronts look cool is the problem. It does, mate. It does. And to be honest, they both look so cool. Where I was like, I don't really need to decide who am I kidding. I'm bound to pick another one up at some point just to run them. But they're pricey. This one at least is. I think this one is 90 points, and the other one is 110 points. So I think the other one is like a unique ship. You can only have one of it. So I decided just to start with this one. Anna's in as well from Red Rose Wargaming. Hello, Anna. Speaking of Armada, if you haven't seen Red Rose Wargaming's Armada video, please do go and check it out. It's probably one of the best battle reports, if not certainly the best Armada battle report, but one of the best battle reports I've seen in a long time. So yeah, go and check it out and give Red Rose Wargaming a bit of love as well. Fantastic channel. Fast Panda Gaming, good evening to you, mate. She says, can I ask what you use to attach the model to the handle? It's just the putty stuff, mate, that comes with it. This is I don't know if I've got some here actually. Let me have a quick look. I have got some. So when you buy these Red Grass Games handles, they come with this stuff, which is, it's a bit like blue tack, but it seems a lot more kind of sticky. So you can, oops, just get in there. You can kind of see it just comes in that. You just kind of scrunch it up, mash it down onto the top, and yeah, it kind of holds it decent enough. These handles you can swivel as well, so yeah, I find them really useful. Marcus is saying I need to go by my local game store to make a large paint order. Yeah, there's a few washes I've run out of actually that I need to top up. I might be making a small purchase myself as well in the very near future. So yeah, I have to use a smaller brush just to get in behind that claw there at the back. Lord Main says, let's get wasted. Yeah, I'll drink to that, mate. Cheers. Anna's saying the ship looks amazing. Alan just got his extra large ones. Yeah, like I say, I've got the Basilean one there, the Empire of Dust one there, and the Dwarf one. This is just the first one that I'm making a start on, purely because I just love the look of the Orcs ships. I just love the way they look like little kind of like floating cities. All these bits of buildings stacked up on the back, and I love the kind of background lore that the goblins basically build the ships for them because orcs couldn't do it themselves. So there's just like, I can just imagine all these little goblins just bashing these ships together. Peter says he can't start on the beer yet. He's putting a few finishing touches to his Malifaux crew. Fantastic, mate. Looks like you're going to be well done in time for next week. People are starting to send their Malifaux crews through to me now for the merely for painting challenge. I've got quite a few that's coming through now, which is nice to see. I was starting to think that people hadn't bothered, but yeah, now it's getting a bit closer to the deadline. I'm starting to get a few emails a day now of people's finished crews. So that's really cool. VG says, I built up with the Couch to 5k app, now been doing 7k a day most days. Do you know what it is, mate? I definitely need to go back and start from scratch. I used to be pretty fit, and I've honestly kind of let myself go a bit. I'm not like massively overweight or anything like that, but exercise-wise, fitness-wise, it's gone massively backwards. I used to do like 10k run, like 10k races. I used to do I've done a couple of 10k assault courses with Lou. Before Jackson was born, me and her used to go to like sort of boot camps, and do like sort of quite high intensity like boot camps. We used to do one every morning before work, like first thing in the morning. We used to go together. Back before we had a little one that we had to worry about, getting up for nursery and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, since Jackson come along, I must admit Lou was always the one that motivated me to do it. I never really enjoyed it, but I obviously understood the benefits of doing it, and she was the one that kind of motivated me. And obviously not being able to do it together anymore, I just kind of got out of the swing of it really. And then obviously I started to go to the gym again, and then lockdown happened, and the gym kind of closed, and so of course I kind of got out of it again. So I should really just try and kick my ass into gear really. Making this up as I go. David Milano, hello mate. Meditative shipbuilding mood music, groovy. Yeah, I can't hear the music, mate. Obviously, otherwise you'd get a bit of a reverb going around. So I'm trusting that you find it suitably good music. Fast Panda saying make a list when buying paints. I always forget what I need as soon as I walk in the friendly local gaming store. Yeah, I do that. I use the GW app, to be honest, and tick all the boxes that I need. It's pretty good for that. That's why well, that's because I use GW paints, but so that's a little bit more of the lighter colour starting to come together. So yeah, I think what I did before was I've painted one of my orc ships on a stream before, and to be honest, I've only painted 1.5 of those, and I was painting them by hand. I was literally brushing on the brown sort of colour, and somebody had said to me, like, why don't you just like prime them that colour? And like it kind of dawned on me, I didn't, because I wanted to paint it on the stream, so I didn't want to kind of like half finish it by priming it already. But yeah, this is going to give me a far nicer overall finish. So I'm going to either just prime over the top of what I've already done, or strip it back if it looks like it's a bit thick. But yeah, just do them this way. I think get a bit of depth in the shades, and then get some metallics in and stuff. So I think that's good enough to kind of start with. I will just grab my my brush soap. Excuse me, excuse the head. Andrew Fairbanks, hello fella, how the devil are you? Just gonna wash this off here. Is afternoon, Mr. Bossman, mowing the lawn. Did a little bit of hobby last night and started a blog about it. Nice, mate. You'll have to drop me the link so I can have a read of it. Yeah, I'm just getting the thick of the paint off this, and I'll clean it properly off stream. Because these dry brushes, you really do have to keep them clean. Right. Do for that. Soap. Lord Maiden saying, I sent you some pictures, but I may have another crew painted in time. Nice one. If you've done more, mate, all the better. Liz says, did you get my pics okay? Yes, mate, I got yours. I think you were certainly the first one to send me about 2 or 3 crews. You're well ahead of the curve, mate. Don't worry about that. And I'm saying, let's do a couch to 5k blackjack challenge. Ooh, do you know what it is? That might not be a bad little shout. Is there any of those apps where you can kind of like, you can see what everybody else is doing? Because that would be good, wouldn't it, to see what everybody else is, how they're progressing. That wouldn't be a bad shout. God, that brush is losing hairs all over. Michael Cowan said, I'm a fair weather runner, but now the weather is fair, it's too hot. At least that's my excuse. I'm definitely a fair weather runner. It's one of the reasons why I go to the gym, or I used to go to the gym, because I didn't want the weather to be a kind of something that put me off. Right, so for reference, when I look back and see exactly how I painted this, it was primed with the Halfords Camo Brown. I then dry brushed Steel Legion Drab, and then I dry brushed Zandri Dust. Because there will come a point where I have to go back and watch my own video to see how I painted this ship. So that's how I remember. Right, let's get... I think we'll go with a bit of Iron Hands Steel. Deep Red says, just got back from walking the dog. Hi all. Hello Deep Red, how are you doing? Nice to see you in the chat. Peter says, I think these Malifaux models are among the best painted I've done. eBay Pro Standard. I tell you what, mate, I think you've been doing a great job there. Excuse me. Beer gas. The pictures you've been sharing, mate, you're doing a fab job. Fiji says he never got round to Malifaux crew. Been finishing his mini swap. I tell you what, mate, there's always something to do, isn't there? Don't worry about. I don't expect everybody to complete or even to compete in every challenge. I expect people to kind of pick and choose the ones that they want to do. So yeah, never fear about not finishing a certain challenge or anything like that. It's more about just trying to motivate you to do something, and if you're doing something anyway, that's all that matters. Dazed and Confused says, such pretty sculpts. They have bags of detail on them, to be honest. See if I'm not sure about the light. Let me see if I can get the light a little bit better for you there. Trying to see the detail. I mean, all of those like little cannons and stuff out the side, the buildings. I'll probably pick some of them out and stuff. We'll maybe have a little bit of wash on them later and stuff, but yeah, they're nice. They're nice sculpts. They certainly are that. Just get that light back in the right place. Tony says, did you get my entry for the challenge? I did, mate. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll tell you what, I just need to use the wet palette here. I'll get a little bit of paint on the wet palette. Just thin this metallic down a bit. Come on. Thinner's just out of reach. Bobby Clark, good evening, mate. He says, spent the day doing a painting tutorial and missed out on the glorious weather because of it. What orc ship is that? This is the Ripper Hulk, mate. It is. Yeah, it'd be easier if I show you on this one on here. It is this one. The Ripper Hulk, which is the biggest ship they do. And you get, because there's two different fronts, as you can see here, that's an optional front. You get two different cards with it. The other one is called, if I can read it, called the Maul, and it's a kind of like what's the word, like a unique ship. You can only take one of them. So, all right, we'll get in and paint some of these metallics now. Got to get these metal panels in. Lord Maiden says, wait, does anyone have 5k worth of models in their untapped potential pile? I feel like I've got about £5,000 worth, mate, to be fair. Never mind 5k of points. Always growing. Tony says, did you get... Oh, yeah, I did get your entry, mate. VJ's having a chat there. Peter. Kirsten, good evening. Is that a nice looking ship you've got there? Thank you very much, Kirsten. You did a very good job of casting it. VJ says, lost 40 kilograms in 18 months and have kept 30 of it off for another 2 years now. I wrote up my battle for a few friends to use as a guide and will be happy to give it to anyone that needs it. Tell you what, mate, I will happily use it. Anything that might give me a bit of motivation. I'm like, this sounds a little bit weird. I'm pretty good at like telling other people what to do and kind of trying to motivate them and saying the right things at the right time type of thing. Like, it's like I think it's one of the few skills in life that I have. But I feel like I kind of know the right thing to say at the right time, if you like. But when it comes to motivating myself, Tell you what, I'm not good at it. And that's, I appreciate that probably sounds a little bit weird, but yeah, self-motivation is very different from kind of motivating others. But yeah, I do need a bit of a kick up the backside now and again. John says, a Wednesday live stream of sweaty selfies to show our progress. No, you're just taking it too far now, mate. Yeah, I'm not sure I want to. I did actually once consider making a second YouTube channel purely around kind of trying to get fit, and like basically, you know, like I'm a 40-odd-year-old bloke. If I can do it, anyone can do it, kind of thing. Purely as a motivation thing, because I found like, well, I really enjoy doing YouTube and making videos and stuff. If I could combine the two, maybe it would motivate me, but I couldn't even motivate myself to get started. And I also thought, well, like, it's not like I don't already have a full-time job that needs me to make more videos. So, yeah, but that never happened. So yeah, we use an Iron Hands steel here. It's a nice kind of sort of light silver. The reason I'm doing that is because oak chips shouldn't be super clean, so I will no doubt wash this over with a Nuln oil or an Agrax Earthshade. And starting off with a slightly brighter silver gives it somewhere to go. If you start with quite a dark silver, I tend to find that just like you almost lose the metallic look of it. That's why I'm starting with silver. And I'm just going to go around basically while we're chatting and just pick out any bits that should be silver. We'll probably paint the inside of that black, I think. Give it an idea, a look of depth to it. Andrew said, I'll drop a blog link when there's a few more posts to get into. Really need to get back to running. Kids and work get in the way of it. Isn't always the case, mate. I mean, it's one of those things where you think, oh, I'm sure I could make time for it. But it tends to be the time I've got like available. A bit different now, like with what I do as a job, I suppose. I could just make time during the day. But in the past, the only time I had available was like the end of the day when the little one was in bed and we hadn't eaten, so then we end up eating really late. And it's all just excuses, really, but like there always seemed to be a reason why it wasn't a good time to start. But yeah, when I was really into it, I must admit it did just become kind of like habit, and I used to like exercise every day and played football with a load of lads from work who I used to work with in Manchester. We'd play football and go for a couple of beers afterwards and stuff. So yeah, so I used to be much more active. These days I've got a really sedentary job where I'm literally kind of not even leaving the house really. The last 12 months, not really left the house. So my fitness has just absolutely disappeared. My wife's really fortunate in the fact that she has like a really like sort of natural level of fitness. So even doing nothing, if she suddenly starts running again, she's already starting from a pretty good sort of place. She's just naturally quite fit. I've got to work at it, I must admit. I don't tend to pile on too much weight. I seem to level off roughly where I am at the minute. So weight's never, whilst I would like to be a bit thinner kind of thing, weight's not really a massive issue. But yeah, fitness levels. I mean, I need to be fitter. I need to do it for health reasons really rather than weight reasons. So, there's my life story anyway. I'm sure that's what you all tuned in for. I went off on a right tangent there, didn't I? VG says, weird, it doesn't look very brown on the camera. I think it's probably with the dry brushing on, it's probably lightened it up a little bit. I'll tell you what I will do. I'll try turning down the... We'll darken it down a little bit. Is that better? I think I've taken the opening on the camera down a little bit. Let me know if that looks a bit better. It looked quite dark on the screen here, but I think it's sometimes the angle I'm sitting looking at the screen can look a bit darker than it actually is on sort of in reality. Right, let's get on here as well. Get this claw at the back done. Water. VG says he's keen on the Malifaux crew of certain minis. like the stitched together stuff, only to find that most of it was limited edition or no longer available. Yeah, a lot of the kind of limited, they do like a limited edition thing. It's like an alternative sculpt thing as opposed to like it changes the game or anything like that. But they do a few things of those once a year. BG, is it common with Malifaux minis? It seems a lot of the stuff I like is no longer available. I think it probably depends, mate, if you've looked at older editions. So if you're looking at first edition or second edition stuff, they won't make them anymore and they don't sell them anymore. You can sometimes pick them up either second hand or old stock in stores. Or if you're looking at any of the kind of, twice a year, they do kind of like alternative sculpts. So they'll do one for Gen Con, which is like a limited edition kind of event miniature. And then they'll do one for I think it's normally around Halloween time. They do like a Nightmare edition or something like that. But they're alternative sculpts as opposed to minis that you can never well. Of course, if you can't get them, but it's not like they're minis that only some people can play. They use the same stats basically as the existing minis, just with different sculpts. So yeah, they do it, but it doesn't change the game. Like I say, it sounds like if you're talking about quite a few that you like that's not available, they're from older editions, mate. I think that's what it must be. So yeah, they're probably just out of print, and they've been replaced by the new 3rd edition stuff. WM says, hi BlackJack, a fan from Poland here. Thank you very much. I don't consider myself to have fans, just friends who we've not met yet. That's what I consider everybody. He says, has the whole Brexit thing influenced your hobby as far as prices are concerned? It has a bit, mate, if I'm perfectly honest. Because the uncertainty of knowing what you're actually going to pay. We had a little bit of a chat about this on our Patreon group today. The uncertainty of knowing if you're going to get hit with like sort of VAT taxes and stuff when you buy from overseas, certainly has affected like what I would buy. So for example, at the minute I'm getting this all ready for loads of battle reports and stuff coming up, and I need wargaming mats because I don't really have a lot. And so in the past I would use sort of Game Mat EU, I would use Deep Cut Studios, that kind of companies, and they are typically kind of Poland based or something like that, or sort of Czech, that kind of places, sort of European anyway. And it's really put me off purchasing from them, if I'm honest. So I've started looking at either companies in the UK who sell their products, or I've started looking at UK based map manufacturers, and there aren't many, but I must admit that's where I've kind of started looking at Tiny War Games, who do some fantastic mats, and obviously they're UK based, so I don't have to worry about getting some surprise overseas charges and stuff as well. And I don't think it's a fault of the companies. I don't even think it's necessarily the fault of Brexit. It's the fact that this has been implemented and nobody seems to really understand what they're doing when it comes to charging the right amount and stuff. I think people are filling in paperwork wrong. I think people are misunderstanding the rules wrong. And I think that's what's causing some of the issues. So that's a very long-winded way, mate, of saying, yeah, it's definitely affected, or it's contributed into me not buying stuff from overseas now. I'll buy my hobby stuff pretty much UK only now, where in the past I'd have bought things from like Micro Art Studios, which I think is might also be Poland, I think actually. It's affected me until I'm a bit more certain that I'm not going to get stung with a VAT bill. It's put me off Kickstarters for exactly the same reason. Like, I'm backing something now, but with there's so much flux going on, and with kind of like shipping and things, I've got no idea excuse me, really how much I'll be paying in the future. Yeah, it's definitely affected me. Marco, good evening to you, mate. Long time no speak, hope you're well. Yes, it is an Armada, mate. It is the Ripper Hulk for the Orcs, which is their biggest ship. Roger says, did you consider magnetizing the two prow weapons so you could make them interchangeable? I did consider it, mate. However, by the time you put the base on, it kind of hooks like under here a little bit. And I think you'd struggle to get it in and out without filing bits off it and stuff and making it more of a wedge shape. So I did consider it, and then to be honest, I just thought, like, rather than worrying about it, because at some point, if I do decide to buy a second one to run the other ship, I'd probably quite like to have them both in my list or something like that. I'm not a competitive player. I'd be more playing for just the visual look of having some big ships on the table. So yeah, so I did consider it. I tend not to magnetize minis, if I'm honest. I'm a collector. I'm a painter. I play for fun. So for me, rather than having flexibility to use either, I'd rather just have one of each, just because I like the look of them and it's nice to paint them, kind of thing. But that's just a personal thing. I think you certainly probably could magnetize them. I'll show you the piece that's. Find it here. So what you can see here is, I don't know if you can see actually, but there's little kind of hooks here. Now you could file them off if you wanted to. See little hooks at the back. Oh, there, that probably shows it off better. So these bits here kind of hook in the front of the ship, and I think that would probably stop you pushing it right in. Right, now there are a lot of cannons on this ship, so this is going to take a little while. Let's have a little scroll down here. Stu here's do it. I need the motivation. Yeah, I tell you what, mate, I could do a bit of motivation as well, to be fair. BG says, no worries, mate, I'll drop you my write-up on Discord. Thank you very much. I started when I was 41, so anyone can do it. Perfect, mate. Well, I'm 46 this year, so I'd quite like to hit my 46th birthday in November. A bit fitter when I hit my 45th. So. And I think weirdly, this is going to be a bit morbid now, but weirdly at the back of my mind, my mum died quite young. My mum died when she was only 50. And I think as I approach 50, I think it's psychologically kind of like, you know, I should really be a bit fitter. I should be in better shape. Like, so I think there's that in the background, but with everything, you kind of put stuff off, don't you? So yeah, I could do with a bit of motivation, really. My God, this is going to take me all night just to kind of touch on and paint up some of these cannons. I should have knocked a few more off with my fingers when I was a bit heavy-handed earlier. There are a lot. Radek says, yeah, Brexit. My UK orders used to arrive in a week. Now it's 1.5 to 2 months or never. See, I really feel for that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. It's not like I used to buy a lot of stuff from overseas, but I did used to buy some stuff. So things like Micro Art Studio stuff, Deep Cut Studios, different mats and things, Kickstarters. I would, like, if it said EU friendly, I wouldn't really give it a second thought. But yeah, it does make me just double check stuff. Like when I see something I like the look of, I do seem to like to double check it. Because even if you like, I think the rules are pretty clear once you read them and understand them, but it just feels like it's not always being implemented correctly. So even if you do spend under the threshold, there are still people who are being hammered with bills or tax and stuff. It's just a bit of a mess at the minute. I'm sure it'll sort itself out eventually, but in the short run, especially at a time when products are in short supply because of the whole sort of Brexit, because of the whole coronavirus supply issues and things getting around the world, products are in short supply. Then you've got this issue on top of it as well. It's just one more problem basically when you just want to buy something. You know, you want to buy some hobby bits or something. We're not talking about kind of like buying serious stuff. So yeah, unfortunately, you end up just not bothering, don't you? Ghost Winter says, evening, halfway through the week already. Bank holidays, work a treat. They're not bad, mate, are they? They're not bad. I happily have a bank holiday every week. Not that it changes what I do, but I think it just puts people in a better mood. John said he went full on rust and verdigris on his orc ships. Yeah, I'll probably be dirtying these up a little bit towards the end as well. So This is just getting the basic stuff down at the minute. So keep going with these. I'm not sort of being too neat with them. They're going to get washed over, and this, as I said before. So I'm just basically, it's almost even just like a dab of silver, almost, just to give the impression of something there. It's small enough that I'm not gonna stress about them. Like I said before, I've knocked a few of them off, being a bit heavy-handed earlier. So yeah, it's coming together. A little bit. Some of these rivets here. Some of those out. It's going to get a bit of a wash over anyway, so. Tell you what, there is a lot of cannons. I've not looked at the card for this ship. I'm assuming it has quite a bit of firepower. Because the amount of cannons I'm painting here, it better bloody well have. If I've painted all these and it rolls 2 days, I'll be spitting feathers. Marcus is saying, watching Andy paint the ship makes me think of the Monty Python skit, Crimson Permanent Assurance. I don't think I've seen that, mate. Deep Red are sealing the wide accountancy. Blizzard says the alt sculpts for Malifaux come back each year. Do they all come back, mate? I didn't realise that. I didn't think they did. I didn't realise they all come back each year. Because if they do, there's some very nice ones over the years I would have liked to have picked up. Like when I'd not been in and around Malifaux, I'd kind of saw them and just thought, oh, they're nice, but don't need them kind of thing. Yeah, now I'd quite like to pick some of those ones up. Right. A bit on here as well, just bits of called like rivets and stuff, just to pick them out. A couple of cannons at the back that I've not done. That'll ding dang do. Push that out. BG says, yeah, okay, well I know my fave new... Oh, hang on. Scroll that up. My fave new hobby shop has a decent amount of Malifaux in stock. The next time I'm there, I'm just going to browse and pick one or two I like the look of. Yeah, that's the way to do it, mate. Even if you never have any intention of playing the game, there's some absolutely beautiful sculpts in that. It's definitely got the nicest range, I would say, of a miniatures game. I think of like the overarching, completely different aesthetics for one game. BG said, I assume it says on the box or somewhere there's an app that tells me if they can be used together. There is an app, mate. It's called M3E. And it's got a really good list building in there. So if you put in who the master is from the core box that you're looking at, it gives you a list of all the models you can choose from. Kirsten saying, as far as Brexit, I wanted a desk hobby organizer system. Tony recommended, and it's a Polish manufacturer, not shipping to the UK. Is that what they're called? I know exactly who you mean, and yeah, I've just read that recently that they're not shipping to the UK at the moment. Just a couple of bits there. There's bits on the chip there. Yeah, it's causing all manner of problems and stuff, but do you know what it is? I was watching the news tonight with one of my lads, and there's something on BBC News called Outside Source or something, and it's basically kind of like showing news from around the world and that. And there's like an oil refinery on fire somewhere. There's a volcano in Africa that's kind of like wiping out all the water supply for another town. Like there was just like all of these problem things. There was the female Mexican mayor, I think, of the town, whose husband was killed when he ran for mayor, and she basically decided to run for mayor instead, and she's done it for 3 years, and she's standing for a second term now, and like her husband was killed for standing. There's about like sort of 5 or 6 of her like sort of colleagues who've been killed or gone missing from this town and stuff. And you think like, yeah, things are not so bad, really. I'm not making light of it. It's more a case of like, yeah, things are not so bad. Should really put things into perspective when I mourn about paying VAT on something. Things could be a hell of a lot worse. Put a bit more silver on these top cannons that I seem to somehow have completely missed. The best bit is you won't see 80% of this when the seals go on. I'm not worrying about being too detailed. Kirsten saying, also got into airsoft, and the rifle I want is from Austria. Will be subject to, where was that? Subject to 22% additional tax. I know. It's a killer, isn't it? I guess. I mean, yeah. The problem is you factor in the price, and it might still be reasonable, but it's the fact that you shouldn't have to. You didn't used to pay that, because I think where the problem is if it's over a certain price, you're not supposed to be charged the tax in the shipping country. You pay the tax when it arrives, and if it's under a certain price, you pay the tax in the country that ships it. And the problem is people are not filling out paperwork right, and people are being stung twice for stuff. And that's, I think, where the problem is. It's a kind of case of like sort of filling things out properly. That's not happening because I think people just don't understand it at the minute. Stu says, fact is, GW are monopolising on the situation, hiking the prices of new releases. I don't think they are, mate. I don't think they're trying to monopolise on it. I think they probably were always going to raise their prices. And I don't think there's a case of monopolising on it. I suppose if you're going to sell less things because you've got limited supply, that's just how capitalism works, isn't it? If you've got less things to sell and you can charge more for them, that's what you do. I don't buy their stuff. So, Boney says, exercise. Nope, not going there. Not anymore. Won't go into why. Okay, mate. Marcus is saying, I do remember when there was not a single GW model that cost over $75 US. That's just GW in time, isn't it? I guess you could, in theory, go to any miniature company and say, I can remember a time when there was no miniature over X number of dollars or X number of pounds. Prices just go up. It still comes down to the consumer. You either buy it or you don't. But I've kind of give up on complaining about prices of things. It's either something I can afford to buy and I want it, or it's something I can't afford to buy. And if I still want it, is it worth saving for it? And if it's not, then that's it. I've give up on whinging about things that I can actually control. Like I can't control their prices, but I can decide whether I want it to bother me or not. And to be honest, GW stuff's just kind of fallen off my radar. I am not the slightest bit excited by AOS 3, I'll be perfectly honest. It's not something I've even looked at. So, Peter says, how many picks do you want per Malifaux crew? One group shot or individual ones, including the back or not? Don't worry about the backs of them, mate, unless there's something interesting you want to show off. But just take some pictures, mate, and just send me the ones that you like the best. I'm going to show them off online. So just send me the ones you like. You can send me one of a group shot. Or you can send me like, you might want to send a picture of like 3 of the models together and another picture of the other 3 together, just so you can get a bit closer to them. Whatever you want, mate, whatever you're comfortable with sharing. They're your models. You just send me what you like. Andrew says, yeah, Grandpa and his brother both died around 80 due to a combo of stroke and heart attack, despite being really healthy for their age. Kind of weighs heavy on both me and my dad. I can imagine that, mate. I mean, 80's not a bad age in the grand scheme of things. I know we'll all like to go on forever, but yeah, if it means you can do something now and try and kind of keep an eye on those kind of things, I know what you mean. BG saying, agreed. My dad was overweight and sedentary my entire adult life. After he passed and my son turned 1, I committed not repeating that pattern. Yeah, randomly, like my mum wasn't kind of like, she wasn't massively overweight or anything like that. She'd given up smoking a long time ago. Just kind of went to bed one night and didn't wake up the next morning. She had a heart attack. But yeah, it's kind of it's just one of them things, mate. It's one of those things that you kind of think about as you kind of get a bit older. And I guess when I was younger, it didn't really bother me. I mean, it bothered me, but you know what I mean. I never really thought about it. Whereas I get a bit older, it's like, I'll be careful. You really do something about it, especially when it's completely in my control to do it. Anyway, let's keep it light. Right, I think that's silvered up. Right, we are now going to. I think I am gonna keep them yellow. That was what color I painted the original ones, but I think I'm gonna keep the yellow color, but I think just keep this more simplified. This more simplified method. As you see, he's gonna slap some paint down now. Let's have a little look down. BJ says spitting feathers. I've never heard that saying before. We say spitting chips over here. I think we tend to say spitting feathers for a number of things. Sometimes if you're really thirsty, you can go, oh, like if your mouth's really dry, oh, I'm spitting feathers. And then I think sometimes we also use it as a term to say like just arguing over nothing really, like just. So yeah, I like how we've all got like little sort of localized differences for different phrases. Lord Maiden says, I understand what you mean. I'm kind of going down that same route. I'm old and I'm not getting any younger or more beautiful. I tell you what, mate, I am definitely getting more handsome every single day. I am getting older, but yeah, I'm not going to give up. We're all getting more handsome, mate. Don't you sweat about that. I'm not. I ain't no supermodel, but I would say I've aged better than I could have done. Put it that way. Well, they always say to paint yellow either over pink or over brown, and I don't think I've ever painted over brown before. Let's see what difference it makes. I'm just using Avalon Sunset here, just thin down a little bit. Hobby Zone, that is the company I was thinking of. Yes, that is who I was thinking of, mate. Marcus says, my cat will not stop grabbing my face and licking my nose. And you wonder why I don't have pets. 20 says, built my hobby layout with Hobby Zone kit. Yeah, it's nice stuff, mate, to be fair. It is nice stuff. Christian sharing the link for the Patreon there as well. From as little as $2 a month, you can join the awesome folks in our Patreon, group, and get access to the private Discord server. Today is a perfect day to join the Patreon if you're on the fence about it, because you will get a full month access. Because the way Patreon works is basically it takes the month's payment on the day you join, and then it takes a repeat payment on the 1st of every month. You can cancel at any point you want. So if you just want to try it out for a few weeks, see what you think of it, you can join today, and you'll have all the way through until the 30th of June to kind of wait up, see if it's for you, and then you can just cancel it if you want before then, and you won't be charged again next month. Or if you just want to support the channel with a one-off payment, you can join for a month. You can cancel it tomorrow, but you'll still get like a full month's access, because I don't kind of like kick anybody out of the server or anything until the month's up. So yeah, now's a good time to join if you're thinking about it. It's always a good old natter over there in the Discord chat. Where are we up to here? I really like our Polish talent and still go with it. Mark says, something I figured out years ago. Someone is always having a worse day than you. Yeah, it's definitely the case. I don't tend to watch the news, if I'm perfectly honest. I find it's all doom and gloom. It's all negativity. It's all it's not being news of late. It's kind of like it's just the different news stations guessing at what they think's going to happen. So all these things about, will we unlock a bit further? Will we not? Is this virus more sort of, is it spreading faster? Is it slowing down? It feels like they haven't got a clue what they're talking about. So they just, it's like the daily guess. So I tend not to watch the news anymore. So I haven't really kind of kept up to speed with what's happening around the world and stuff. But I just put this on at tea time at night. And I was kind of amazed to see like, I mean, one, it's bloody depressing watching the news, but my God, like, yeah, there's definitely somebody worse off, that's for sure. I mean, like, this thing over in Africa, which was where there's been a volcano, which has basically contaminated the reservoir where they all get their drinking water from. And now they're getting, like, sort of cholera and stuff from dirty water, and there's no fresh drinking water for these kind of, like, thousands of people. It's just like, my God, like, what a horrible situation. You don't realise how lucky we are. Like, I've got a fridge full of like bottles of water next door. Like, I'm sitting here with a can of beer on my desk, and I'm sitting painting on a live stream. It's like, things are not that bad, are they? Things are not bad. Anyway, Kirsten says couriers are also adding their own additional charges, claiming admin costs, and you don't know how much they'll charge until you get it. Yeah, that's the other side of it as well. If people were upfront, so at least you knew what you were going to be charged, you can weigh that up and think, well, you know, it's still worth it, or well, I really want that thing, so I'll pay the bit extra. But yeah, there's too many companies kind of taking a little cut. Royal Mail are doing their little cut. Some of the courier companies are taking a little cut, saying, oh, it's because of the extra admin and stuff like that. And I think everybody's trying to make a little bit on the side from it. And I'm sure there is some added costs, but if people just implemented the system properly, a lot of those costs could be negated. It's almost like it benefits them at the minute to screw it up. Mark's is saying, don't forget to drop a like. WM saying, yeah, he's heard about couriers charging extra. A friend of mine runs a hobby shop in Warsaw. He said he is in deep shit with the additional costs. I can imagine, mate. I can imagine. I really feel for people that are like the hobby are basically taking a bit of a, their business are taking a little bit of a bashing through this. It's not good, and the quicker it gets sorted out, the better it'll be for everybody. And of course, it's the smaller businesses that end up taking the brunt of it. Right. I think we'll probably need a couple of coats of the yellow on this, but we're just gonna block them in. Like I said before, it's gonna get a wash on it as well, so I might just put the one coat on for now, do the wash over the top, and then highlight it back up anyway, so it'll get a couple of coats. And obviously, with it being a little bit thinner at this first coat, it might help with some of the shading. I'm not going to worry too much about it at the minute. Mark was saying, creepy music box tube going on. Chucky the Doll vibe. Is it really? I see. I can't hear it. So it's like it's one of these. It's a big sort of file with like loads of music on it, which is instrumental stuff, and it's all like YouTube sort of acceptable, like license free. I forget what it's called. Copyright free type stuff. So you don't get copyright strikes for playing music and stuff in the background. But I must admit, I've not gone through every single song and listened to them to see what they're like. I've listened to a few and I thought, that sounds pretty good. We'll have a bit of that on the stream. Yeah, I'm sure there must be some spurious ones in there as well. Moose Moosington, good morning, sir. How are you doing? It says, what are you working on? I am working on the Ripper Hulk ship, which is the big orc ship for Mantic's Kings of War Armada. So yeah, I'm getting my stuff ready for the Armada event in September, which I'm looking forward to, a trip down to Nottingham. Get some games against probably some of you folks in the chat tonight. So I know some of you are going. But at the very least, it'll be nice to just say hello face to face. And thank you for your continued support. Because it'll not be too long, and I'll have been doing this full time for a year. And thankfully I'm not in a position where I have to quit and get a proper job yet. So your continued donations on the live streams, your buying of merchandise, you're shopping through my affiliate links, the Patreons, even just watching the videos as well, like you watching the adverts, and that helps me out as well, that kind of stuff. All those little things are always kind of financially keep it stable. But also as well, even just the nice comments, like Peter, for example. I know he supports Patreon and stuff as well, but Peter always comments on every single video. Marcus is the same as well. Because come and just drop a note into the video. It's nice to read nice comments, because I don't always get nice comments. But it's always nice to get a nice comment as well. It just gives me a little bit of a kind of a sort of like a nice feeling sometimes after you've had a bit of a rough stream. I mean, sometimes the streams can be quite rough actually. You get a bit of flack for voicing an opinion, really, regardless of how controversial or non-controversial it is. It's still just an opinion. Like I'm not sort of telling you that everything I say is 100% facts. Like there's a lot of what I say is just what I think or what my opinion is on something. And it can be quite tough some days when you're reading lots and lots of negative comments. But yeah, but even just supporting the channel by giving it a thumbs up, by a nice comment now and again, chatting here in the chat, it all helps. Let's have a little look. Might say, watch out, truck drivers, Moose is in. Kirsten says, Andy, you might not be a supermodel, but at least you're holding one. That was the biggest kind of backhanded compliment I've ever had. Thank you, Kirsten. Mark says, yeah, would not believe the number of random phrases that we have here in Texas. Oh, yeah. I can imagine. I would love to come to Texas one day and hear them all as well. Lord Maiden says, I've never heard of spitting feathers either. Spitting hairs I have though. Maybe it's a northeast thing. Maybe it's a northeast thing. John says, I look like I was about 40. Since I was 21, I still look like I'm about 40, but now it's true. So you peaked early, mate, and then you just kind of froze in time. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. Moosin, yeah, once he started moving it around, I assumed as much. It looks like an orc ship. It is definitely an orc ship, mate. There's something very orky about it. Get a bit more space here, so you don't have to have my wet palette in the corner of the screen quite so much. Move it down. That's better if I put it there, isn't it? Waddock says, I'm 39 and this week I was asked for my ID when buying whiskey. Instead of showing ID, I took the mask off. Teenagers don't usually have greying beards, but I'm still proud. It's been a long time since I've been asked for ID, that's for sure. James Bray, good evening, mate. How are you doing, sir? Andrew says, refinery is in Iran. That's where it was, mate. There's also the teen who punched a bear in the face to save her dogs. I didn't see that one, mate. I mustn't have got to the good news stories before I had to come and set up for the stream. It was all pretty much just negativity and horrible things that were happening in the world. That was all I'd heard so far. Right. Push the brush out. Things can always be worse. Never underestimate the colour of the grass under your feet. Very wise words there, mate. Liz says, that's one more Warhammer Underworld band done. Flying through stuff, mate. Your output is unbelievable. Mark says, music is good. You just need to sleep with the light on and internet go. Man, it's really been nearly a year already. I remember when that change was coming up. Yeah, it's been a year. It'll officially be a year. Oh, actually, no. Oh, yeah. July the 1st. It'll be like... yeah. I officially finished my old job on the 30th of June. The 1st of July was officially the first day that I wasn't doing this as well as my old job. Yeah, 1st of July I've been doing this for a year. I can't believe it. So yeah, like, what's that, 4 weeks? We'll have to have a little celebration stream, I think, that week. I'll have to remember to do that. Somebody remind me. Right, we'll get a little bit of... with a bit of Morghast bone, we'll thin that down. And pick out some of these horns and bones and stuff. Tony says, my friendly little game store haven't shied away from EU suppliers. Thankfully, they're not happy about the extra admin, but continue to expand their reach. Spellcrow were added recently, so that's nice to see. Yeah, there must be a few of that, like Spellcrow and a few of those kind of... I don't even know the size of Spellcrow to say they're a smaller company, but my assumption is they're not huge. Yeah, those kind of companies. And I would imagine they obviously, like, the popularity of like GW in the UK and things, a lot of those companies rely upon that kind of sort of third-party secondary market, if you like. So yeah, it can't be good. Christian, get your OG BlackJack t-shirts, such as the one I'm wearing this evening. I need to get some more designs done, to be fair. I've not had 5 minutes to do them, so yeah, let me just, there you go. You can see, there's the design. Get yourself one of those bad boys. Kind of beat you, isn't it? Let's have a little look. Radix saying we're living in the age of overreaction. You're not wrong, mate. Negative comments are part of it. All we can do is have a thick skin, chill, and focus on the positive, constructive stuff. Do you know what's kind of weird actually? And it's something I'm not professing to say I'm kind of famous or anything stupid like that. But like I put myself out there on the internet and I say my opinions, and then it's easy for people to kind of, like, a lot of the stuff I do on a live stream, it kind of comes off the top of my head, it comes off the cuff. I've not necessarily kind of thought it through. Somebody asks me a question and I give a response, and I'm getting better at that the more I do these live streams. But there's times when I say something and it might not come across exactly as I mean it in my head, kind of thing, or I might misspeak slightly. I wouldn't say I ever said anything I've regretted saying, but I've said things that maybe I didn't explain very well. And then what happens is somebody watches that video back and has time to type a message and delete words and reconstruct it and give it some thought and be kind of very sort of analytical about it and come back and tell you you're wrong because of X, Y, and Z. And if it's constructive, fair comment. I'm always open to be proved wrong or to have more information to tell me something else. But when it gets a bit nasty and stuff like what a prick, like who do you think you're trying to convince with that, or even kind of thing. Like, it's weird that you get one comment like that and it can stick with you for days. Like, you end up like overthinking and thinking like, well, you know, why did they take it that way? What did I say that was wrong, kind of thing? Why did somebody assume that's what I meant, or something like that? It's kind of weird, and it sticks and it goes round in your head, and it doesn't matter how many nice comments you get. The nice comments are nice, but I think I like, in a weird way, I tend not to believe the nice comments, because I'm not like full of my own self-importance kind of thing. But if somebody says something nice, it's nice that they've said something nice, but I think the imposter syndrome in me goes, oh, they're just saying it to be nice. They don't really mean it. They're just being nice, kind of thing. But then you believe every bad comment that comes, and it's a weird situation. I can, on a very, very small scale, and like nowhere near what kind of like big stars go through, but I can see how even the small amount of negativity that I get, I can see how it affects like sort of like superstars who must get it like all day, every day. Like, there's no escape from it. Like, from social media, it is just constant. Like, even if you take a day off, like, the messages are still coming through and that kind of stuff. It's quite it's a weird feeling. And obviously, as the channel's got bigger and some of my videos get more views and that kind of stuff, obviously it attracts more people. Then it attracts more negative comments. So it's something I'm like, I'm not going to put me off. I'm not going to stop or anything daft like that. But there are times when it makes you second guess, like where you think of a topic and you go, oh, that'll be really interesting. I'd like to talk about that. And then you go, is it really worth it? Am I just setting myself up for a fall here? And it shouldn't be like that, really. So, yeah, I've had the odd rough day where I've just not much felt like doing it and stuff, but generally. VJ saying, yeah, the heat of the mini agnostic stream was pretty full on. Glad to see it didn't let you get you down too much. Yeah, I had a couple of days where I just thought, oh, I can't be arsed. Like, I really just need a break from it. And to be honest, I do feel like I'm ready for a bit of a holiday type thing. I need a bit of a break, because this is my hobby as well. So even when I'm not making videos or not like sort of working, and I say working in inverted commas because I do this during the day or whatever. When I'm not doing it as my job, I'm still doing it as my hobby as well. So I paint things just for me. There's stuff I do that I don't talk about on the channel. I don't share online. I just I do it purely for me, because that way I can compartmentalize that, like, this is hobby and this is work kind of thing. So it is my hobby, but like the messages never stop. Like my watch, I've got an Apple Watch, and like all the messages in the different groups I'm in keep coming through, and the private messages and the emails and all that kind of stuff. And whilst, like I said before, like 99% of it is always like really nice, and it's just friends kind of sort of reaching out and having a chat, like the chat in our Patreon group and stuff. I get a very, very tiny small glimpse of what it must be like to be just like bombarded. Yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. Don't get me wrong. I'm one of the luckiest people I know, getting to do something I love every day for a job. But you do have to be thick-skinned at times. You do have to be thick-skinned. Peter says, I didn't realise I was such a sycophant. My next comment may be rather more harsh. It's not sycophantic, mate. It keeps me sane. Please keep being nice. I like the nice ones. Mortis says, yeah, I'm the reverse. I'm 34 and I still get carded when I go to an R-rated film or go to a bar. God, honestly, I can't remember the last time anybody asked me sort of like, can you prove your age? That was a long, long time ago. I guess it's one of the things of having a very, very short hair, shall we say. I'll put it politely. I think people just assume, you must be old. I mean, I am. I'm not trying to pretend I'm young, but I think that's the assumption. Even with a mask on, I'm still bald. So I learned a long time ago as well that I can't paint horns. You know how people paint like horns to look like bone and stuff like that, like that, like almost sort of starts darker and ends up lighter, or whichever way around it goes, lighter to dark or whatever it is. I've never been managed to do it, so I tend to just whack the paint on and just wash it. Where was this up to? Old man says, wait, wise words, is that what happens when you drink cider? It must be, mate. It must be. Drink more cider. Wise words. Tizzy Brindries, I'm fortunate. I've always looked younger than I actually am my entire life. Even in my early 40s, I'd still sometimes get carded. I think, and don't take this the wrong way, I think certainly in the US, they tend to ask for ID way more often than they do in the UK. But yeah, I would imagine if you look your age, you're not going to get asked. Radek says OG t-shirts. OG, mate. Original gangster. They're the OGs. Not the orgies. Those t-shirts are very, very exclusive. They don't sell them online, that's for sure. Marco says, age of overreaction. Who do you think you are to generalise? That's exactly it. That's exactly the kind of response I expected. And I expected it from you. So there you go, mate. I don't know if I should. A little bit at the back. We might tidy them up afterwards. Right, where are we up to here? 4 layers of bricks. Oh, my God, mate. Get a job as a brickie soon. Marcus says, I am glad my friend's paint commission that I'm working on only going to need 5 colours or 3 or 4 light colours. I'm trying to kind of like narrow down on the amount of colours I use. For one reason is it kind of makes it feel a bit more coherent, but it also forces me to kind of speed up as well and not overthink stuff. I think I'll try about it. Those bits done. You haven't missed any more. Sure, I probably have, but we'll never really notice it in the grand scheme of things. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of highlights on a few bits. Andrew says, monetize your haters. long as they watch the adverts, mate. I don't think they're going to join the Patreon, but they might watch the adverts. Moose says, just like poor old Spyro. What that is, mate. What says, I could not care less about random people talking crap about me on the internet. They do not really know me and I do not know them, so I move on. Friends and family talking crap is a different story. It's funny, I mean, I kind of see it like that, but I'm at an age where, like, I'm too old to worry about what people think of me. Like, not everyone can like me. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to make everybody like me, kind of thing. I'm being honest, do things my way, and people will either like or dislike that. So that's kind of how it is. I'm not going to change my ways for people. But I hate the idea of somebody disliking me or disagreeing with me because they've got the wrong end of what I was saying or something. Maybe they completely got the wrong end of the stick, or they think I'm being offensive by saying something when that wasn't what I meant. It's those kind of stuff that bother me. If it's just a kind of an outrageous comment, and they're just running into the ether. Really, don't really mind that. But yeah, I hate to think somebody forms an opinion on me by getting the wrong end of what I was trying to say. Those kind of things stick with me a bit. We're all human. Right, I think we will get a bit of a wash over that now. John says, I remember you put a video about changing a dual action airbrush to single, and the first two comments were needlessly negative. You're basically put it up because of a question I'd asked in the Discord. To be honest, yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I mean. So what happens is I think sometimes, like, I think I'm doing something to help people. Somebody asks a question and it's like, you know what it is? I'll do it as a video, or we'll talk about it on a live stream because it'll be easier to do it that way rather than trying to message backwards and forwards and stuff. And there are some people out there who, rather than just thinking, well, that's not, I don't need that. Like, there are some people who will just go, I think I'm going to rant about it. I got the same thing when I was showing people how to clean. You know how I did a video about how to clean the gunk from the top of GW bottles, and by far the biggest comment I got was, just buy Jota bottles, don't buy GW, then you won't need to clean them. And it's like, this is obviously not aimed at you. This is aimed at somebody that has GW paints and wants to clean them out, and I'm showing you the easiest way to do it. But yeah, that's just, such is the internet, unfortunately. Right, a bit of old glorious Agrax. Tasty Brain says, yes, OG t-shirts are for a different channel. Yeah, you've got to be a Patreon for a long time before you get invited to an OG t-shirt. Right, let's get a wash on this. Lord Maiden says, I remember you had a constant thumbs down, and then when you looked at Bot Wars and said the guy who made it as a guy who is negative at everything to do with the game. Yeah, I remember he'd had a few issues, I think, when he was kind of sort of putting stuff up, and it was always like, basically whatever he did, he got negative comments on it, and then anything that was to do with his game, they kind of went and put negative comments on it as well. So it happens. I mean, I still get thumbs down on the videos now, and I don't mind that people don't like the video. It's absolutely fine. Like, YouTube doesn't care whether you like it or not, as long as you kind of react to it. And that's kind of, I guess that's almost like a story of our time at the minute. It's like they don't really care whether you like something or dislike something. They just want you to like or dislike it enough that it provokes a reaction. And I think that's just a signal, sort of, that's where the world is at the minute, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't mind if somebody doesn't like my video. It's when, like, it's because generally I tend to get one on most videos, and I know for a fact it must be the same person who comes back. Sometimes they'll thumbs down a video before it's even gone live. Like if it's a painting sort of hobby hangout or it's a Monday night live stream, they'll come and put the thumbs down on it before they've even seen what the video is. Like I'm already disliking your video because it's you, kind of thing. And I was once in a Discord group, and I won't say which one it was, but somebody shared, it might have been my Armada video, or it might have been something else. Somebody shared it, and I didn't say anything. I didn't really chat in the group that much. I'd been invited to it by somebody. It was kind of on my list and stuff like that, and I just happened to be kind of browsing through it, and somebody shared the Armada video saying, "Oh, This game's just coming out soon. What do people think about it? And it wasn't about my video. It was just about Armada in general. And the first comment was, "God, I can't stand that guy." And I replied and I said, like, "Thanks for the positive comment. You can't please everybody," kind of thing. And it became a bit of a kind of like a joke thing. But it was really weird to just read back, "God, I can't stand that guy," and it's like, wow, that's quite an emotive response to that. But yeah, I must admit, those are the kind of things that do stick with you, rightly or wrongly, weirdly. Mark was saying he's finished his latest commission: Iron Hands characters, 2 captains, a lieutenant, a Judicar, Blade Guard Ancient, just base and left. Nice one. Moccasin had to clean his keyboard. He was eating a pear and it sprayed juice. That's what happens, mate. That's what happens. Honestly, I don't care what people on the internet think about me. They're significantly nicer than the voices in my head. I like that, mate. Relic says, yes, one perk of middle age is you stop trying to adjust the world and let the world adjust to you. It definitely does keep you sane. Like, I'm not saying that like I'm kind of like immune to stuff, but I must admit I kind of like, I do let a lot more things go. Like, I like if somebody's like arsey to me on the internet, I don't tend to kind of like react to it. I tend to keep my cool. Sometimes I might try and engage in a conversation and try and explain my point. Sometimes I just basically ignore the comment, really. I tend not to delete them unless they're really like offensive, but I tend not to delete the bad comments. I just think like, well, if somebody thinks that, you know, they're entitled to their opinion type thing. John says, is there a Patreon level not to get invited to the orgy? There is, mate, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. Seeing as how you upped your pledge today, mate, which was very, very kind of you. So yeah, it's that one. You're in the right one now, mate. I'll take your name off the list of invites. Radix says, this Onyx beta for Wild West Exodus does not help my sanity. Hate it when a mini holds a gun in both hands, but each hand and the gun a separate piece. Oh, that does sound a tricky mini, that one. I've not seen that one yet. Right, let's get a bit more of this in. Andrew saying, give a dislike to stand out and be unique. Notice me, senpai. It'd be fine if they put in it. Do you know what it is? I don't even mind the dislikes. I'd rather, if somebody dislikes a video, I'd much rather they actually left a comment to say, this is why I disliked your video. Then at least I'd know why. I could either say, well, that's just your opinion and I don't really care. Or I could say, actually, no, that's a fair comment. I might take it into consideration and I might change some things. Because, you know, feedback's important. And by no means kind of, I know I don't do things sort of right all the time, or even any of the time. But yeah, it's a funny one, that kind of right. I'm just gonna take the time, press this thumbs down, and then I'm not gonna tell you why I disliked it. That's fine. Inner voices are the worst. There's James there. James Braces, just realised my Dragon's Rest STLs have some destroyed building parts, and after you print them, you poke unused PLA into the hole to look like sticking out rebar. That is quite clever, that, mate. I've not seen that kind of stuff before. A very nice idea. And a very well thought out design by the sound of it. When he said, I'm always terrified about making a simple post. It takes me an hour or two to build the courage to post it more often than not. You know what it is, mate? I mean, hopefully, at least in like our group, you feel comfortable and like nobody's going to come back and kind of give you any grief. I think the difference for me is just like, I think people assume, well, you know, he's putting himself out there. He's putting himself out there to be shot down. Like, who the hell says like his opinion's any more valid than anybody else's? I get all that kind of stuff. Like, so I am an easy target, if you like, because I put myself out there to be a target. I do get that, and that doesn't bother me generally. But I think for someone like yourself, Tony, like, I appreciate it's a worry for you sometimes, but you're nothing but helpful, mate. I can't see you ever posting anything that's going to like sort of give you any kind of like any rough feedback or anything like that. You're nothing but helpful. A pillar of the community, as they say. But yeah, whilst I'm sure that doesn't help you in the slightest with posts and stuff, like, just please know that I don't think you could ever post anything that would be sort of overly problematic or anything like that. But please, even if it does take you an hour, please keep posting, mate. I always look forward to seeing what people are doing. Like, I started all this YouTube stuff because I wanted to be part of the community. I wanted to get involved, and this was one way to do it. It was one way to kind of put myself in front of people that I don't get to meet face to face, and that's still at the heart of really what I'm trying to do here. It's why I cover the less popular games, and I say less popular as opposed to kind of sort of 40k in Age of Sigmar. Then it's not that they're kind of like not good games or anything like that, but they fly under the radar a bit sometimes. That's why I cover that kind of stuff. It's why I cover a lot of different games. I don't just cover one game. Like, I want to make everyone feel welcome. These painting streams, I'm not a great painter. I want to show people that it's not hard. You don't always have to paint like to be award winning. It's great if you can. I never will, but it doesn't stop me kind of sort of putting myself out there and things. So yeah, and I like it when people post in the groups and sort of post messages in the chats and stuff like that. It just makes me feel like the community spirit of what I'm trying to build is kind of alive and well, really. Marcus says, I bet the thumbs down guy is Christian. Nah, I'm pretty sure it's not. Christian's a good guy. He would tell me if it was him. That's how I don't think it's him. Ned says, I really enjoy all your modder introductions. It's one of the reasons I bought into the game. Thank you very much, Ned. I'm planning to do some more soon, if I'm perfectly honest. I've got a few more of these bigger ships and stuff. So I'm going to be doing some more bits. I'm going to be doing some more Armada playthroughs. My wife actually offered to do another Armada playthrough the other day, which I didn't think she would. So we'll get that filmed at some point. So yeah, it's we'll definitely have a bit more Armada on the channel soon. Especially as I need to play more games before I go to this event. And if people would like it, I'd happily do a bit of like an event diary thing, like a bit of a day out diary vlog thing when I go down to Manic as well. Have a bit of a chat with some of the people that are there, get them on the channel as well, and you know, make it a bit of a sort of like a day in, not a day in the life, but like a diary day type thing of the event. Get some shots and stuff, not like film all the games and stuff, but yeah, just get a little bit of an interview with the players and stuff like that. Have a bit of a chat with some Mantic folks. Nice to make it, like, for all it's a day out for me. I do like making videos. It's still my hobby. Yeah, we might do something like that as well if folks are happy to be on camera. Jacob says they did a great job of making the ships easily identifiable. They did, mate, to be honest. Because that's not easy. I mean, a lot of the kind of like, and this is no sort of down thing about sort of the Warlord Black Seas, but it can be quite, the ships look similar, shall we say. Like it's not always easy to tell those kind of ships apart. Where these ones you certainly can. Lord Mitten says, what goes well with red and is a hair colour and isn't black? With red. Blonde, mate, I would say. I would go with a blonde colour. Or brown, to be fair. Brown and red are pretty close. Bald goes with everything. Yes, John, you were right. Bald goes with everything. Bald is the new black, as they say. Andrew says, I've learned to stop inferring negative emotions and rage from internet comments. Yeah, I tend not to get annoyed at other people's comments. Like, as in, like, if I read something online and I didn't agree with it, or I thought they were being, like, sort of a bit over the top about something, I don't really kind of wade in and, like, sort of, like, give my opinion. Like, you know, I tend to just scroll by. Unfortunately, that's not how social media works. It's about kind of rage culture. It's about kind of getting people annoyed, isn't it? But yeah, I must admit, you'll very rarely, if ever, see me kind of sort of like wading in with a really strong or a strongly worded opinion of something online. It's like, life's just too short. There's times I've kind of started to write things and then went, What the hell are you doing? Don't be stupid. You're just feeding the trolls kind of thing. Why are you getting involved? You don't even care. Like, why are you doing it? So there have been times I've had to kind of like stop myself. And I also have to kind of also consider, and this sounds like kind of really kind of corporate stuff, but like I'm also representing myself as a business as well now. Like, so the last thing I want to do is to come out and just be like if I come out and see like a load of horror. Ruas is in as well. Good evening, Ruas. How are you doing? Whoops, that's just gone off the top of my chat there. Deep Red said, I finished painting nearly an hour ago, but I can't tear myself away tonight. You just stay here, mate. You just stay. It's lovely to have you. Come and hang out with the gang. James says, I've been biting my tongue for a while, mate, but I do have one issue with the channel lately. Can we have a bit less OG chat? See? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll set up a separate group for it, mate. There you go, and then you don't have to take part in it. Here's where my channel gets demonetized now for talking about sexual content or something stupid like that. Even probably just by saying that phrase is probably just set a flag up somewhere in YouTube. Cool, definitely want to see more Martyr content, says Tasty Brain Drain. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too, mate. I mean, obviously, like, I know I've been getting this like studio ready to kind of get some battle report stuff in, but one of the I'm ready from it from a kind of like a technical point of view of being able to film stuff, things like getting enough painted miniatures, getting terrain and things like that. What I don't want to do is start doing like battle reports and then just stop because I've got nothing painted or I've got no terrain. I also don't want to just keep playing the same game over and over again with the same armies and things. So I'm just trying to get ahead a little bit. Obviously, as I said before, my lads are now off for the whole of the summer. So one of my lads is going to like come over during the week and things, and we're going to do some filming as well. And my plan's to try and get like a backlog of like battle reports and videos so that I can, obviously over the 6 weeks holidays, my little boy's off as well. Like he's off this week for half term. So I'll be looking after him as well as kind of trying to like film stuff. So I'm just trying to get like a bit of get ahead of myself so I've got some breathing space and I've always got content ready to release. So there's no point kind of coming out with 2 or 3 battle reports now and then having nothing more for like 5 weeks or something stupid. So yeah, that it's all there ready to go. Christian's coming this weekend. We'll probably film something as well. Don't know what we're going to film yet, but we'll film something. But yeah, it's all good. Right, it's starting to come together. A little bit more wash on those horns there. James saying would love to see a travel vlog thing. Yeah, I think I'll do something like that. I mean, I've not done one in a long time. I think the last one I did I might not have even released. I think I just completely forgot to release it. But yeah, a bit of a thing about like sort of setting off. This is what I'm taking. Sort of meeting some people down there, showing people what the event looks like. We did that video a couple of weeks ago about don't be frightened of tournaments. I want to kind of show you what to expect if you go to a tournament and what it's like inside, about how friendly it is, about how welcoming people are. So yeah, I'll try and do something like that. If anybody that is going to the event doesn't mind being on camera and wants to have a little bit of a talk about their experience or talk about the games they've played, I'd love to speak to you on the day as well. Right, well, let that dry for a bit. I will have a drink of my beer. How are we doing for time? 10 o'clock. That's not too bad, is it? 10:05. Wash that out. Go back to... Oh. I think you can see from my head, I got a little bit of sun this weekend. Got a bit of a cherry head. Let me just check some things there. What was that? Just checking some stats there, make sure everything's working properly. My eyes are not that good, to be fair. Right, Deep Red said I wasn't going to get into Armada, but I think there's a Dark Elf fleet planned, and I'm a sad Dark Elf fanboy. I think there's definitely an Elf fleet planned. I'm not sure about the Dark Elf, but I could be wrong. if Kirsten's still around, she'll know for sure. Peter says, Armada Event Diary is a great idea. Yeah, that'd be nice. Something different to do as well, isn't it? Kevin F. What was he just saying there? I really should make one of my Cleggan Mountains men have purple hair. Spot the main character. That's not a bad idea, mate, is it? We get him to stand out. Vijay says, yes, more Lou versus Andy Armada. Keen for that. I know you said you didn't think it was likely. Yeah, like, honestly, mate, I think, I know she didn't want to be on camera when we're doing it. And I've mentioned it in the past, and it's like, oh yeah, I'll do it, but then it never happens, and I always feel like I'm kind of forcing her into it a bit. But she actually mentioned something the other day. I think it was when the ships arrived, actually. She says, oh, are they for that game that we played? And I said, yeah. And she went, we should film another game of that. I was like, are you sure? And she went, yeah, I'd like to. I enjoyed that game. Like, oh well, fair enough. Then we'll do another one. Damn, the stream is lagging. Is it really? It looks all right at this side, or it looks okay now anyway. I don't know if it was lagging before. Tony says, thank you, gang. I do have to work up to it, but I like to help and pass on anything that I might have learned. I love seeing people grow, and if I can help, that's a win. Honestly, mate, yeah, just you passing on what you know as well. I mean, you've been hobbying for a couple of years now, shall we say, and you passing on what you know is great to new folks. Yeah, a bit of lag, and it stopped, so I refreshed and got an advert. Bet you didn't watch it though, I bet you skipped. Ruat says, doing great, thank you. How are you? Came late to the party, missed out on it all. I'm doing great, mate. Thank you very much for asking. I'm glad you are too. Yep, refresh and fixed it. Had to refresh to get it going again. It's weird, isn't it, sometimes? It might be, to be fair, the difference tonight might be the fact that I'm obviously streaming here. I've got my laptop here, which is obviously streaming the chat. My wife will be watching something on Netflix upstairs, and then the two older lads are here as well. They'll probably be both playing on their PCs as well, gaming or something like that. I'm surprised it's even working, if I'm honest. Marcus says, catch you all next week. Happy to be playing some more 40k on Friday. 10 games so far this year. Nice going, mate. I'm impressed. Take care. Nice to see you as well. Christian says, if you're buying new toys or hobby supplies, don't forget Andy's Goblin Gaming affiliate link. Thank you very much. If you're looking for what's it called? Armada stuff. You want to buy some of those new ships? They do have 20% off them as well, so please do check it out. Lord Main says, if we have a suggestion for a game for you to look at and we could supply the miniatures, would you have a look at it? To be honest, mate, I will look at pretty much any game, unless it's something I've played before and I know I don't like it. I'll give sort of like 99% of games a go, so I'm more than happy to give anything a try. It's more about things like you say, getting miniatures, getting because it takes time to paint them, and obviously like it's weird when I'm doing this on my own, and I know people. To be fair, people have offered. Christians offered loads of times as well, but I feel bad taking people's offers of help, if I'm honest, and because of things like you lot sort of give me support financially for me to make this happen, and then for you to then offer to kind of do other stuff as well when this is my job. I think I struggle with taking the help and accepting the help, if I'm honest, and I feel like I should do it on my own. That's probably a downside on my half. But that said, it takes quite a while to kind of get terrain done, to learn the rules, to kind of to paint minis and all that kind of stuff. And that over time that will become much easier and much more simple because I'll have more stuff painted. I'll have more terrain that I've printed off and painted up over time. So over the course of the channel, like in the future, it will get a lot more smooth and a lot faster and a lot easier. But yeah, I literally do everything on this channel on my own. I answer all the emails every day that come through. Kind of try and keep up on the social media stuff. I'm obviously kind of like even just setting up for today, it takes time. So I had to build this miniature this morning. I had to clean it all up. I had to prime it and let the primer dry. I then have to come and set up some of these cameras and turn lights around and get the thumbnail done and set the stream up and test everything, make sure it's working. Like even like a Wednesday, which really should be like, oh well, I'm just streaming tonight. It takes quite a bit to kind of get everything set up, moving cameras, making sure everything's working, pulling the cables through. Like it's much easier now with the studio than it used to be, but it still like sucks up time basically. Like before you know it, like half the day's gone. My little boy's finished nursery or something, and I'm having to pick him up and that, and then I wait for my wife to finish work, and then I go back and start again. So it's like I'm just not good at accepting help, I think. I need to get better at that stuff. So yes, if people are offering to provide minis for a game, yes, I will definitely look at them. And that was a long answer, wasn't it? James says, Neptune 2 question. First layer not going down properly. Is it likely to be an issue with the bed not being hot enough? Not always, mate. A few things I would check if the first layer is not going down. First one, give the bed a wipe, give it a clean, and be that with soapy. Do it while it's cold, by the way. Take the build plate off and do it while it's cold. Do it with soapy water. Do it with a bit of isopropyl alcohol if you've got it as well. Clean it down and make sure you've got any kind of residue, any sticky stuff, any fingerprint oils, anything like that. Get that off there. Second thing to do is check your bed level. Sometimes it gets knocked out and stuff. If your bed's not level, if the bed's at the wrong height and stuff, it won't put it down. Do that. Not sticking to the bed is sometimes it's a weird one. Sometimes you think, oh well, I'll put the temperature up to get the PLA to stick better, and sometimes it works in the opposite way around. Sometimes what it does is because it's hot, it's not getting a chance to cool down fast enough, so it doesn't cool and stick to the bed. So if it's been working at 50 degrees, for example, because my bed works at 50 degrees, if it's been working at 50 degrees and your fan speed's at whatever it is, 100% the same as it normally is, try checking the bed's clean, try re-leveling it again. And if everything is fine there, it'll be fine, to be fair. That tends to be the bulk of most reasons. Dan Kennedy says the next fleet are the Twilight Kin, which are Mantic's Dark Elves. Ah, it is Twilight Kin. You are right, mate. I knew I'd heard elves, but I think in my head I just thought it was elves. John saying Twilight Kin's on the way, a bit of Night Stalker influence. That's right, because Night Stalkers and Twilight Kin are all part of this kind of like background faction, aren't they? All minces in Twilight Kin, everyone's telling me that. Blizzard says, if you see Ronnie down there, tell him I'm anxiously waiting the Ratkin fleet. Yeah, I'd like to see a Ratkin fleet. I've got a feeling there's not going to be one, because I'm sure that Matt had said like, in the lore in the background, like the rats wouldn't build ships. But yeah, I like the idea of kind of like rats on a sinking ship. I'd love to see these kind of like half sunken, kind of like rat infested ships. Even if they've taken somebody else's ships and they're almost sinking and they're really slow, but like I would love to see something around that. Vijay says, when the other half says we should play that, you never argue. 100%, mate. She's an absolute angel, I'll be honest. I am so lucky. The way she supported me to get me to what I'm doing here, like she's been an absolute angel, and yeah, offering to play on camera as well is just like going above and beyond. Lord means I had to skip it, I was missing you. J-Bot says, hey man, hope you're finding painting in this heat less of an ordeal than I am. Signed up for the firefight beta test at Mantic, so working on a whole new 1,000-point Enforcers army. Nice one. I must admit, I still need to give Firefight a try. I don't have... I've got miniatures. I like to use the Mantic miniatures, and at some point I will get a Firefight army. But yeah, with everything that's been going on with getting the studio finished, trying to catch up for the backlog of stuff I've not been doing while I've been working on the studio, I feel like I'm drowning a bit at the minute. I feel like I'm way behind, and I've lost my video making mojo because I've gone so long without making a proper video. I need to just dive back in and get one done and get back on the track, I think. But yeah, when I kind of get some spare time, I wouldn't mind giving Firefight a try. I'd like to get involved with that again. Lord Mid says, a hero is never alone. What is it with you and your wise words tonight, mate? I don't. I think it's just me, mate. I'm used to doing things alone. I've been kind of stuck at home, like working alone for the last year. Like it's been a bit isolating at times, and I don't like to feel like I'm taking advantage of people. So when they're offering help and stuff like that, I'm not good at accepting help, I'll be honest. John says regular elves are coming too. That's maybe what I've heard of, mate. Then Liz says I'd accept sinking human and or abyssal dwarf ships for our fleet. Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool, mate. I like this idea of kind of like rats have overrun these ships, and like whatever factions had to kind of like get off them quick, and these sort of ships are half underwater, and like maybe their firepowers, maybe it's enhanced, like maybe they've got like kind of like ratkin like sort of poisons they're shooting out the cannons or something like that, but maybe they're a bit slower because they're being dragged down. Maybe they can't ever get above sort of speed 2 or something like that. I like the thematic idea of it, really. Is that me caught up with the chat for once? Oh my god, that doesn't happen very often. Time for a drink in that case. How's this going? Let's have a quick look at this and see how it's drying out. It's starting to come together. There's still some damp patches on it, but I quite like how it started off. The bones look suitably bony at the front there. Oh, let me get a light over that one. Bones look suitably bony. I like that. Metallics look a bit more washed down now. We'll dry brush them up with like a silver and smarten them a little bit. I think that's right. Sometimes simple is best. So yeah, that's going okay. Deep Red is going to call it a night, old son. Got a craving for Rice Krispies before bedtime. Excuse me. Take care and stay safe. Will do, mate. You too. Lord Maiden saying, if I had to get used to my supervisor actually being there. Oh, sorry, I had to get used to my supervisor actually being there. I was so used to being on my own work-wise, it felt really weird at first. Yeah, I know what you mean. Marcus says he thinks he's caught up. Start posting fast. And Peter saying, Rice Krispies. Lord Maiden saying, yeah, I mean that in a support way. I know what you mean, mate, but you do get used to being on your own. And I think that's like... I think if I'd worked a certain way before lockdown happened, I might have felt differently about stuff, but because I went into this full time as lockdown happened, and I couldn't see anybody, and I couldn't get together for games, and I couldn't kind of relax outside of it as well by going to game stores, like have games and stuff, or going to people's houses, or people coming here. I think it compounded it over a period of time, and like now it's almost, I'm finding it difficult to either ask for help or to accept help. I think because I've gone so long now without sort of doing it. It's weird, really. Michael Cowan says bedtime is calling. Late as all. Take care, buddy. Chesney Kedney said it happened. I finally made and painted everything that I own. I feel a bit lost, like coming to the end of a good book. Now I need to find a new project. Chezzy, do you know what it is? You're the reason that we've got this global pandemic. You know what happens if you ever run out of things to paint. The world comes to an end. I think it was you that sent me your Malifaux stuff, wasn't it? That was really nice. But yeah, you need to get a new project, definitely. Christian sharing the link for Amazon there as well. Yeah, if anybody's buying 3D printers, if you're buying any resin, if you're buying any PLA stuff, if you want to buy some new brushes, anything like that, any Amazon products, if you click that link, I make a small commission to thank you for sending you their way. You pay the exact same price. It doesn't cost you a penny more. Yeah, it's a nice way as a little sideline to support the channel. Yeah, cheers, folks. I'm not even sure if you're supposed to drink on stream. I don't know. I mean, there's channels do alcohol, isn't there? Like do like beer, like sort of like whiskey reviews and things like that. And I know that I always set my videos to like not suitable for children, just in case there's any swears on them. But not that either. How's tonight going? You're not too bad, is it? I'm very close to tipping over 13,000 subscribers as well at the minute. Nice little milestone. Another. I like the big round 1,000 numbers. So if you're not already subscribed, if you're watching this now and you're not subscribed, please do consider subscribing. It'd be very nice. How are we doing? We're 8 away. It's been bouncing around the last few days. I think YouTube are having a bit of a clear up at the minute and getting rid of some old dead accounts. But yes. Let's have a little look. Marcus is saying, I'm used to working alone. My boss trusted me to get projects done on my own unless he had to teach me a new thing, but then back to working solo soon after. Frantic says, do you only work on UK Amazon? It does, mate. I used to have an American Amazon link as well, and I had an Australian Amazon link, but nobody ever used them, mate. And if you don't get enough, you need to get enough uses out of it. Like, you need to get enough people using it where you make £20. They won't pay you any money until you've made £20 a commission. And if you haven't done that in a period of time, they basically close the account down. So the UK one was doing all right. It was ticking along. And I basically made £20 about every 6 months. But the US one and the Australian one, nobody ever used them, mate. So yeah, they just closed the accounts down. It was pointless reopening another one because nobody ever used it. So yes, it does only work on Amazon UK. Jill saying, evening all, very late tonight, but hope you've all been having a good one. It's been a nice chilled one, Jill. Thank you very much for joining us. VG says, did your Aussie Amazon link get shut? Yeah, nobody ever used it, mate. It basically, as I said before, you need to use, it needs to be used enough that they keep it open, and it wasn't. The American one was the same as well, randomly. VG's been buying more off Amazon recently. Peter Nicholas says, not quite finished, but it is beer o'clock, so that's it. Nice one. Here you go. And Neil Pilot, good evening. There's a Cursed City game in the wild. Yeah, mine's not really seeing the light of day. I've played that one game and the miniatures are in a box. At some point I'll get back and I'll paint it and I'll play it and stuff, but it's dropped down my list of things to play at the moment. Yeah, just look, you didn't get hurt at work or broke any tools. I guess there's a bit of a safety thing when you're working on your own as well. I guess at least if anything happens to me, my wife comes and pops her head around the corner once a day to see if I'm still here. So I'm not completely alone, I suppose. But it is kind of weird. I mean, whilst it is really nice having this space now to work in, like have like loads of space, I'm not tripping over myself. I'm really fortunate. I've got an area for doing my live streams, doing gameplay. I've got this little corner where I'm doing my painting stuff. I'm coming in here and hobbying that during the week. It is in a double garage, and there's no daylight gets in here. We're sitting in here with just like studio lights and stuff on. It could be any time of the day or night, to be fair, when I'm sitting work. Oh, that beer really went down the wrong way, and I'm proper gassed now. You don't want me burping on stream, that's for sure. Right, folks, we're kind of, how are we doing? This is going to take a little while longer to dry. I don't think I'm going to get any more painting done on this tonight. So I think we might start to wrap it up, unless anybody has got anything they specifically want to talk about. Otherwise, I think we'll start to wrap a bit earlier tonight. Jill says, any time of the day or night, like a Vegas casino. Or how I miss a Vegas casino. It's been a few years since I went to Las Vegas. I think the last time was when Lou was pregnant. When we found out she was pregnant, I booked a weekend in Vegas as a bit of a kind of like, we're never going to get here again for like a number of years until like the little one's much older. So it was a bit of a like, right, let's just go to Vegas for the weekend. So unfortunately Lou was pregnant, so she wasn't drinking, but I had a great time, and to be fair, we went to see shows and stuff like that as well. It wasn't all about drinking, but yeah, we did a bit of gambling, and we kind of went to see some shows and stuff, and it was really, really nice. I really enjoyed that weekend away. But yeah, I would love to go back. Yeah, I'm not. Unfortunately, though, the difference is I'm not pumping oxygen into here to keep people awake, and I'm not hiding all the clocks. Marcus, if you ever heard me yell out, oh shit, I broke something. Oh fuck, I hurt myself. Joachim says, no, don't stop, I'm still painting. I'm happy to keep going if folks want me to keep going. It was just the chat had quietened down a little bit. I thought people had run out of energy. Jill said, me too, I miss it. Last time I left up $300, and I reckon that means I need to retire. Yeah, that's it. It's not a win until you've cashed out, is it? We don't gamble a huge amount, like money wise. We don't gamble a huge amount when we're in Vegas. We've been 3 times now, and I've absolutely loved it every time. We went once. We went to Vegas for a week, and then we flew to Miami for a week. That was like one of the first holidays we had together as a couple. We went to Mexico first, and I think the next year we went to Vegas and Miami, and that was the first time I'd ever been to Vegas, and I absolutely loved it. And I said, look, I definitely want to go back again. So we went on our honeymoon. So when we got married, we went to Vegas for a week on our honeymoon, and then flew to Jamaica for 2 weeks afterwards. And I absolutely loved Vegas then again as well, because we knew a bit more about it from the first time we went. We kind of knew which spots we liked to hang out in. We knew which bits to kind of avoid and save a day's walking to there or something. And then the third time we went was when we went for that long weekend when Lou first found out she was pregnant. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I just like the atmosphere, the buzz about the place. I love the people watching. There's a little bar just outside of Planet Hollywood on the Strip, called PBR, which is a professional bull riders bar, and they've got like an outdoor bar with all the screens up with all the different sports on. And me and Lou used to just grab used to get a bucket of beers, used to sit outside watching the sports, watching the world go by, just sitting chatting and stuff. And I miss that. I miss them kind of days of just kind of hanging out, and there's something really relaxing about just watching everybody else going about their business and you just sitting there with nothing to do, nowhere to be, like no urgency. I love the feel of the place. Talk about bacon. Marcus is saying, my friend is visiting his girlfriend in Vegas right now. I'll tell you what, mate. I wish I could get out there. James in Vegas for the weekend, the toilet paper money. Tell you what, mate, we both used to have good jobs back in the day. I don't make the money I used to now. What's your favourite thing to have with bacon? Bread in a bun, definitely. I did have bacon today randomly. I had I took my boys out for lunch. I decided to have a burger today, and I had a Monterey Jack cheese and bacon burger. It was very nice. More bacon than a fried egg. No, enough fried eggs. Tony says, I've finished these bricks for the window. Going to listen to all the Saint Pet theme since I'm an official brickie now. Lost all my problems, paid all my dues. Oh God, I remember what Saint Pet. Not long ago, we watched this. Was it the second series, or was it might have been the third series, the one where they were taking down the transporter bridge? I'd never seen that all the way through, so we watched that not long ago. WM says, what's the weirdest thing you encountered in Vegas, or the funniest? So, probably the weirdest thing was the time that we went for the long weekend. And because of the time difference, we kind of we end up being awake in the middle of the night and kind of sleeping, weirdly, sleeping late in the day and being up in the middle of the night kind of thing. So we got up in the hotel. We were staying at a place called the Cromwell, which is kind of Centre Strip, just opposite Caesar's Palace. And we walked out the front of the hotel. If you come round the side, there was kind of an elevator thing that went up, and you could cross over the top of the road and come down the other side. And we kind of come up this elevator, and as we came up this elevator, I heard gunshots. And it was we're from the UK, you don't really hear gunshots. It's is that really what it is? That sounds like somebody shooting a gun. The hell's that kind of thing? So we kind of we kind of crept up this escalator thing, got to the top, and we're looking over the bridge. I could see flashing police lights. There was police lights flashing everywhere. Then I heard gunshots. Then I heard machine gun fire. It's shit, what's going on? And then I heard cut, and all these cars reversed back up the strip. They were filming a movie at the time. I think it was one of the Bourne films. We asked somebody what it was. They were filming one of the Bourne films, and there was this chase and this gun sort of a battle outside of a Vegas nightclub, and they were filming it because it was 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. Obviously, they had the strip shut down to do some filming. But yeah, there was this point where I thought oh my God, I'm going to see my first ever gunfight. It's not something you see in the UK very often. So yeah, it was funny afterwards, but at the time we were a little bit oh shit, do we just go back to the hotel? What do we do? And one weird thing was, so the time we went to Vegas and then Miami, we knew Vegas was going to be kind of a bit wild, sort of boozy nights and nights out and nightclubs, and kind of we went to the Wet Republic pool party thing, a day party, and Calvin Harris was the DJ there and stuff, and we had a fantastic time. It was pretty wild. I was much younger. I should add to this as well, but it was pretty wild. And then so then we went to Miami afterwards, thinking oh, this will be a bit more chilled. And when we got there, Miami was even wilder. I didn't realize kind of Ocean Drive was such a wild, full of bars and clubs and pool parties, and it was just absolutely nuts. I thought Miami would have been a bit more chill, and it was just as crazy. Let's have a look. Peter says, I never want a BLT, but if I get one, delicious. Marcus says, I really like good bacon burger, where I grind up the bacon into the ground beef. Ooh, I never had that, mate. It's normally just a slice of bacon, a rasher of bacon in the burger where we are. Let's have a little look. Going down here. Yeah, WN says, damn crazy. I pissed my pants. We kind of did at the time. It was always this morbid, like, this morbid curiosity of, oh my god, like there's a gunfight, something's going on. Quick, have a look, see what it is. Like, rather than just like running for the hills, it was just like, it sounds far enough away, we shouldn't really worry about it. But yeah, we should we should investigate. Tasty Brain Drain says, okay, what is Our Wiedersehen Pet? So Our Wiedersehen Pet is a TV show that was on in the UK. It was probably on in the late 80s, I think, early 90s, and it continued for a little while after that. Essentially about a group of English sort of builders and bricklayers who during the 80s, when there's no work in the UK and everybody's on the dole and unemployment's at its highest level, all go to Germany basically for work. And there's a few Geordies in that. There's a Brummie in it as well, somebody from Birmingham. There's a guy from London. There's a Welsh guy, and they basically all go over to Germany and work on this building site, and basically live in like a wooden hut together. And it doesn't sound fantastic, but it was just kind of iconic of its time TV. John says, try a BJL, a Blackjack Legacy. Bacon, jalapenos and lettuce. Wow. Bacon turkey sandwich. Jill says, last time I was there, the NASCAR and rodeo championships were in town. We flew in from Texas. The more cowboys than we saw before we left. That sounds pretty cool. I think that when they have the rodeo championships as well, that professional bull riders bar where I normally like to sit and have a few beers, I think is absolutely crazy. I think they have like parties and stuff there. Marcus says, jalapenos, no thank you, I cannot handle spicy food. James says, I've done Wet Republic when Calvin Harris was there, May 2013. Do you know what? I'm trying to remember when it was, mate. It was probably around the same time. I can't think how long ago it was now. It might have been May 2013, if I'm honest. I wonder if we were there at the same time. I'm trying to remember when we went to Vegas. It might have been around... Oh, it was May, because we were in Vegas for May the 5th for Cinco de Mayo, because... what's he called again? Floyd Mayweather was fighting at the MGM Grand at the time. We were there for Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th. So yeah, we might have been there the same day, mate. Who knows? Yoakum says, I've finished painting now, so it's okay to end the stream. Thanks for the company. You're welcome, mate. Ghost Witness says, Our Wiedersehen Pet, taking down the transporter is definitely the best season, from Burrid, Arizona. Yeah, like I say, I don't remember seeing it right the way through to the end. I couldn't remember the end of the story, so when we watched it, we kind of watched it all the way through. James says, oh dear, I better have a look in the background of my pictures. You'll probably see somebody like that looks like a younger version of me with a really red head, mate. Marcus says, if I start hearing gunfire, I would check what the hell is going on to know what I have to tell the cops. It's weird, like, so obviously being from the UK, you don't really hear gunfire. It's not like people really have guns, so you don't really know what it sounds like. You assume you know what it sounds like from watching the movies. So when we heard this sound, the first one, there was like a couple of like pistol shots, and it was just like, was that gunfire? It sounded like a gun, but it could be a car backfire and it could be anything really. So then we kind of continued up, and then that was when I saw all the flashing police lights in the air, and then I heard machine gun fire, and we were like, oh, shit. And then I heard cut, and it was weird. Everybody like reverses back to like a start position, and then they all come hurtling down and slid like into position again, and it all happened again a second time, and then it was cut, and everybody reversed back again, and they went for like another take. But it was quite interesting to see. You know what I'm saying? Good night, folks. Always enjoy your company here in the chat. Yes, mate. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of the community. Marcus says, except farmers. I bet farmers in the UK have guns. I guess they've got, they've probably got, they got like shotguns and stuff, like, but you don't really hear them. Like even clay pigeon shooting type stuff. Nobody goes hunting. Like we don't have like sort of like fox hunting and stuff up here in the northeast, really. Not where I am, anyway. You might have in the posh areas. Not where I am. Lord Main says, did you hear the Bill theme in your head? No, I didn't, mate. I think I probably what went through my head. I don't know. It was like mild excitement, and then when I found out it was like a movie set, it was like almost like even that in itself was like, oh, I'm seeing a movie being filmed. I might see somebody famous, but it was so dark. Like, it was like nighttime, obviously. It was a little bit further away. But I must admit, I did then go and watch the film when it came out to look for that part. And it looked much less exciting in the film than it did in real life. Bug dealers. Jill says, did you hear they are rebooting the bill? Really? That should stay where it is, dead and buried. Mark says, Kill Bill, a good movie. John says, we've got pheasant hunting near us. Yeah, you must be in the posh areas, mate. Kevin S says, might be a generic question, but could you talk about how you started in the wargaming hobby? I'm kind of curious. Yeah, absolutely, mate. To be honest, I didn't really get into it when I was younger. It was something when my older lads were born. I have got twins. I just needed a hobby, something to do, and I just remembered seeing those kind of Games Workshop models in the window. So I picked some up to start painting, really, and that was where I started. Got to a point where I'd painted so much stuff, I thought I should probably try and find out how to play. No, that was how I got started, really. But I didn't start until about I was probably in my 30s, into my early 30s, and I had a little bit of a gap from probably about, I'm trying to think now, probably from being about 36 to probably be about 39, 40. So I've only really been seriously back into it for about the last 5 years, really. Only that's really how long I've been into it kind of seriously. And I started the YouTube channel when I got back into it after having a bit of a break. So yeah, I'm not somebody that's got like 25 years of playing games, and I remember Warhammer Fantasy First Edition or any of that stuff. I'm relatively new to gaming, really, in the grand scheme of things. James says, you mean everyone didn't go pheasant beating when you were kids? No. Did you beat them with the ends of your shotgun, mate? James says, no, you don't beat pheasants, but you do scare them, so they get shot. It's a bit mean. Yeah, it's like don't hit them. That would be bad. Just scare them a bit so we can shoot them. It's a weird thing, isn't it? Pheasant shooting, like as a sport. But yeah, I mean, even fox hunting, they don't shoot them, do they? I think they just chase them down with dogs. Yeah, it happens like obviously in Northumberland and stuff like that, and like out in the countryside and stuff. I'm a bit on the edge of the city, really. For all it's quite rural where I live, it's like it's farmland on the edge of a city, really. Like I'm kind of out there. James is £20 for a day of wandering through a forest shouting at pheasants. I used to sing in the church choir, mate. That was how I made my money when I was a kid. I used to sing at weddings and get paid for it. I think we used to get like a £5 for singing at a wedding. But yeah, that was how I made my money. Obviously, the singing voice is long gone. Right, folks, I am going to wrap it up now, though. So, I will say thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate you all coming in for tonight's chat. It has been absolutely awesome. We've had some proper rambles tonight as well. Everyone's had a bit chat in the end there. So yeah, we'll call it a night, I think. Thanks very much. If anybody would like to support me through the Patreon, please remember, as I said before, today is a great day to start. You get a full month's access if you join today, and you can cancel. You could cancel it tomorrow if you wanted to, and still get a full month's access. So please do check it out. John saying there, not for me, but shooting is so expensive. I can imagine, mate. Wait. Busey saying there, is there a way to get time left on Neptune 2 other than just percentage done? I don't think so, mate. I've not found that yet. And VJ saying, good to see we got a little bit of bacon chat in. Everyone's saying awesome show as well. Thank you very much. So thanks, folks, and I will see you on Monday's stream. And I think on Monday we are going to be talking about Moonstone. So that's the plan anyway, as long as I get time to do the research I want to do. But yeah, I think we'll be talking about Moonstone on Monday's chat. So if you're interested in that game, come and check it out. So see you later, folks. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month, and there is lots of different tiers and bonuses which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.